Okay, so for any of you that were here last week and got to witness Britt Cumby's presentation on networking, is absolutely phenomenal. And I've been meaning to do another session on networking anyways, and so I thought it was a perfect segue to his, is kind of complement his. I'm using some of his information just because I thought it was so valuable. And if you are here for any amount of time, you'll find out that we will continually tell you networking is the plan. Getting a new job is all about networking these days, especially professional positions. It is, and we'll talk more about it, but it is absolutely critical. And for a lot of people, it's extremely uncomfortable. For me, I started coming to career transition because I had left corporate. I was trying to start a consulting practice, and I stunk at networking. I could not sell myself for the life of me. So I came here to start networking. My challenge was I forgot to leave, but I'm still here. But it's just, networking is what it's all about in the job market. So think through, get ideas from what I present tonight. It's a presentation I've honed over a couple of years. Go watch the video of Britt's presentation last week. I believe there's probably 2 or 3 other videos online about networking and giving you different ideas. We're working on a networking list of places that are networking. And speaking of which, let me go back. There's an event Wednesday night that we just found out about. That, let me see, where was it? Up here, up the street here at Uncle Julio's is the ATD, the national chapter, the Association of Talent Development. Now, they're focusing on training and leadership, but it can be applicable to anybody. It's at, like I said, restaurant up at Uncle Julio's, which is right up the street, right, yes, up right near the corner of Maryland Way and Franklin Road. It's free. The time is 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, and you do not have to be a member of ATD, which is normally you do. The link there is ATD, as in Association of Training Development, atdnashville.org. And it takes you right to their event page. I think this was the second event because there's something else going on tonight. And just scroll down and you can register and go visit for a while, and you'll probably have some free drinks and some free food and just a chance to network. You know, when you start networking, you network with anybody. You talk to anybody, and we'll talk about some easy ways to start networking if you're not comfortable with it. But think about going to this event on Wednesday night at 5 o'clock. So thank you. With you too.
They also have a career transition group as well.
ATD?
ATD.
Okay.
That's it's free. You don't have to be a member of ATD.
Free mostly is different. That's fine. This. Yes, you're probably contributing a lot tonight. So, but yeah, if you guys want to say something, get a lot later if you would, so then people online can hear us. So there's that. So let's pop back to my presentation. All right. There we go. Okay, networking. The reality of it. You have to network. Come on in, Tatiana. Welcome. You're fine. Don't worry. You have to network to get a professional job. Not absolutely have to, but we'll talk about it. Your best chance is human contact. 90% of all professional jobs are filled through networking. And that does include networking internally where they fill a job internally, but the applicant tracking systems are not how you get a job. And we'll talk more about that going through. The hidden job market, many professional openings are never listed publicly. They don't even do anything. They're just talked about behind the scenes. And so you want to start getting your name out there. Candidates are prioritized for consideration determined by the hiring manager, not by the applicant tracking systems. Now, the applicant tracking systems, the Indeed.com, y'all know what I'm talking about on the applicant tracking systems. They might present the resumes that clear their filter, but that doesn't mean those people are getting interviews. That doesn't mean those people are even getting considered. And if you don't have the right formula in your resume, you may not even be considered as the system may not even show you as an eligible applicant, even if you are thoroughly, qualified to take that position. They are the least effective way of actually getting a job. Now, most people will have you get your data in there. You need to have your data in there because that's how it starts flowing through the system at a company, but that's not usually how you get considered for a job. Okay, so sitting there at your computer applying for jobs all day is not going to get it. It's a piece of the job search, but it's not a huge piece. So don't rely on that. It's a wonderful tool for hiring managers. I talked with some of them at my men's group the other week, and they love it. As a hiring manager, as an applicant, though, it's not our best friend. Okay, the ATS, the applicant tracking system, probably won't get you a job. You need to find a person who can introduce you to relevant employees, and we'll keep elaborating on this, to get you to the hiring manager. So you need to get out and meet people. And if it's against your personality, not comfortable meeting people in public, you've got to think through where your challenges are and work at them. Just be bold. And we'll talk some more about how to do that. And it comes in, make a networking plan and commit to executing it. And you don't have to go alone. Like I said, anybody on the, we'll help you. We'll be there to walk with you if you need it and help find ways to find places to network and people. We'll talk about that. Networking, what it is and what it isn't. Networking is identifying how you can meet other people's needs, not going out and asking for a job. So when you show up at a network event, you don't say, well, hey, I'm looking for a job in training and development. The first thing, you start talking to the person. You start a conversation. Hey, what are you doing here, right? Make it about the other person. Ultimately, someone at a networking event will probably ask you what you're doing here. Say, oh, I'm in the job market and looking for this. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. Networking is creating an authentic connection. It's just like you're looking for a new friend, right? Not someone who you can use or who can benefit you. You're looking for a new friend is the best way to approach it. Networking is sharing your story with genuine transparency, and that's the elevator pitch. And we'll talk about that in a minute. It's not this performative show of how wonderful you are. It's just not that yet. And networking is hard. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of planning. Networking is a conversation is only a little bit about you and more about the other person or different ideas. Had a project manager work for me, and he said, plan the work and work the plan. He said it a million times. And I love that phrase. But in any project, you spend about 50% of the project time planning the project. And then you spend the other 50% executing. So the better you plan out what you want to do for your networking plan, the easier it is to then implement it. So make the plan achievable. Don't get this, I'm going to go out and meet 30 people this week. especially if you're not comfortable meeting people. Set your bar at a reasonable height, the number of people you want to meet, or the number of events you want to go to. Because then when you either meet that bar or exceed it, then you start to feel really good about yourself, right? Because networking and being out of job certainly can be a huge self-esteem killer. Your elevator pitch. Create and practice your elevator pitch. I think we talked about we'll definitely talk about that for a minute. Create your personal marketing brief. We'll talk about that some more tonight. Plan your schedule for meeting. Poor job of editing, so apologize. Plan your schedule for meeting people and then execute it. Okay, so on Sunday you may say, okay, well I'm going to hit these three networking events starting Monday, then you execute it. And then at the end of the day or at the end of the event, follow up. One of the best things to do is if you meet someone, if I'm horrible at names. I cannot remember names very well. So if I meet someone at a networking event, as soon as I'm through talking with them, I'll kind of duck out of the way and start making notes real quick before I forget and about that person and what I want to do. And then I'll go get the next person and meet someone else. And after I meet them, I'll do the same thing, duck away real quick and then make some notes. And then when I get home, follow up on those notes. Hey, it was great meeting you, da-da-da-da.
It's also important not to hang on one person too.
Right.
In your networking events, you need to move on.
Absolutely. It's in both your interest and their interest, right? Most likely the person you're talking to, they're there to network also. So you don't want to occupy each other's time. And it could be, that there's a friend there, someone you know. That's always wonderful when you walk in a door and you see someone you know. Well, that's the person you got to avoid, right? Because they know what's going on. You say, hey, Tatiana, how are you? Good to see you. Let's go get coffee sometime. Bye. And go on and meet new people. When you follow up each day, then tomorrow morning, go back to number 3. Well, I guess it's number 4 now. I apologize. Done. Plan your schedule for meeting people and then execute the plan. Then follow up and go back and start again the next day. Where are your networks? Family and friends, of course. Right? And sometimes it's humbling to be talking to family and friends about being out of job. But one of the things these days, there's so much reduction in force going on that it's less and less embarrassing because more and more people have been recently or are in the position you're in. So it's not as humbling, but I understand it's humbling and they may not be people. That's one of the things where you may have to be extra bold is approaching people that you know. The second bullet is former coworkers and managers. They're great references, and if you got along well and if you were a good employee, the manager's probably quick to say, oh yeah, I'll definitely give you a recommendation. Or you know what, I just heard about an opening at so-and-so. That idea.
A lot of companies too give referral incentives, so it's worth talking to people because they may benefit financially from putting you up for a job.
Yeah. Good. You get there. You go. I got one. Okay, good. LinkedIn contacts, go for those. See who you know. See who is more than just a number 2 or a number 3 contact, especially the number 1s. For some reason, they became a number 1 contact with you. So work it. Alumni groups. If you have a college degree, there's most likely an alumni group here in town. If you're looking locally, but just look wherever you're looking for, plug into that alumni group. Those are easy groups to plug into. Same thing, with fraternities or sororities if you did that in college. I go back and start, contacting some of the brothers and sisters. You haven't talked to them in probably 20, 30 years, and that's fine, right? And it doesn't matter that all of a sudden, hey, I'm contacting you out of the blue because I need something. Okay, it's really just hey, how you doing? Just wanted to touch base with you. I thought about you a lot and wanted to see how you're doing. And by the way, I am in the market. So if you're, hear of anything, And we'll talk in more detail about that. Church, civic organization, be involved in the community, and then be able to, work some of those contacts. And then you'll establish new contacts through the networking events. But you really do, and if none of these groups apply, you have a network in the volunteer list, right? So nobody can say they don't have a network, because it's the people on the volunteer list are ready to help out. Your employee portrait, the branding statement, the elevator pitch, okay? Your elevator pitch is a very succinct statement about who you are and what benefit you can be to an employer. It's only 30, 60 seconds. It's not long. You don't go through your whole resume. You don't go through your whole life. You give a very high level presentation of you to tease people. Through this whole process, one of the fun things to do is kind of tease people so they want to know more, right? And if they want to know more, they got to come talk to you. Define who you are in a way that creates intrigue in the audience, highlights the value you bring. All through this process, you don't talk about the things you do. Your resume should not list the activities you did at that job or are doing at that job. Your resume, your LinkedIn profile, your personal marketing brief, and your elevator pitch should all talk about what you accomplish for a employer, right? How does the employer directly benefit? They don't benefit because you're great at Excel. They benefit because of what you did and produced and contributed by using Excel, right? So it's always thinking in terms of how did they benefit? How will they benefit? The elevator pitch gets you ready for network, right? If you get write out your elevator pitch, stand in the mirror and practice it. If you have a friend or someone at home that you can recite it to, practice it out loud, practice it in front of a mirror, record yourself and listen back. It's just actors. They practice their lines time and time and time again. And that's how they get so good at just delivering them like they're natural, because they practice. Okay, personal marketing brief. And we'll look at one in a minute. It's a networking tool. So if you go up to a friend and say, hey, I'm looking for a job. If you know of anybody looking, let me know. Well, your friend cannot do anything with that statement, right? They don't know what you do. They don't know what you're looking for. And it's just, they have nothing that they can grasp onto. They'd love to help you, but they just don't know what to do. So what a personal marketing brief does, it gives them some bits about their information, or it gives them some bits about you. And like I said, we'll look at it in a minute. But all of a sudden, if they're reading through some of this detail, something might hit them. And my favorite section is companies you'd like to work. And I always use the example of, okay, I put down I'd like to work for Tractor Supply. Well, all of a sudden that person has something very tangible to hit in their memory, is that, oh, you know what? My next door neighbor works at Tractor Supply. Let me talk to them, right? And see what they know. So you've helped someone help you. What's it, Jerry Maguire? How's the line go?
Help me help you.
Help me help you. Yeah. So that's what you're doing with the personal marketing brief. It's very high level and very targeted. And there are examples where I showed you the box accounts on the website. The link over towards the right, the box account. There's a folder in there for the personal marketing briefs. Here are a couple samples. The top left is a kind of a business approach. The one on the right is just kind of a different format for a business approach. The one in the middle, Georgia, is a marketing person. So she was a little more illustrative, but in my mind, something like Georgia's may not be the appropriate if you're looking for a finance job, right? Finance or accounting, they might be a little more. That's how I was. I would not have really benefited from looking at a personal marketing brief like George's, but the marketing person in the office next door would have loved it. So it's just depending on where you're coming from and who you're selling to might dictate kind of how it looks. But here, let me go over. We're going to pull up a real one. Well, not a real one, but
I just did one, I did the one on the right.
you did the one on the right. Okay, yeah. This is the one on the left. Okay, it's real succinct. It's kind of like a resume, but not a resume. Okay. But one of the things you don't put your address on anymore. You don't put your street address where you live. You don't put you don't want a Hotmail account, right? See, this one says no Hotmail. Get rid of a Hotmail email. Gmail accounts are free, so make sure you have something that looks professional. Simple. Start with who am I? This is very much like straight out of your elevator pitch. What do I do? And again, this is geared towards talking to someone who's not a professional in your field, right? So someone who you're talking plain English to these people, and somehow so they can, if someone's over here and they're a pastor, right, and you're talking about going into finance, right, you do the wording so that the pastor understands what you're looking for. That idea. So you want to make it real plain, no fancy words. None of this is you want fancy words, just because it just backfires usually. Let me see, how do I? How do I get there? Let's go here. It still is. Okay. Let me see. Oh. Okay. Some of the sections here. How do you add value? Right? What do you bring to the table? What's going to make your manager look like a hero when that person hires you? And so it's just think through what are the critical things. And a lot of that, the job description might help. You can have a personal marketing brief that's geared towards a specific job if you want, or it can be a more generic. But it just depends on what you're looking for and who you're dealing with. But and giving them ideas about how they can talk about you. A very quick summary of your professional experience. This is kind of the bullet head bullets off your resume. And then at the bottom, you can see, like I said, the bottom is my favorite section. It's the target position names, the titles, the contacts, what kind of title would a person have. So if you see someone, if you know, hey, my neighbor is an IT director, there it is, you listed it right there. Oh, this person, this works. I can help this person maybe by talking to my neighbor. The target companies, which I've talked about, and then target industries, right? It could be, entertainment industry. That might click with a lot of people. Oh, I know someone who's working down at what is BMG, and that idea. So you're helping people be able to grasp onto some idea of what's going on in their network that might benefit you. Questions about the personal marketing brief?
A comment.
Yes, sir.
I would just make sure to have several people review it before you hand it out.
Okay. And what's your goal there?
The goal is to make sure there's nothing on there that would impede your ability to connect with someone.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. This is a tool, so you don't want, to where your saw is not sharp, right? You want it to be perfect. You want it to be right on. So get some help. Again, back to the volunteer list if you need help with that. We'll gladly review it. Any other questions or comments about that? Anybody online? So the art of networking, right? Don't ask for a job, write out, just engage in conversation, start to build up a relationship. It'll come around. Conversation will come around. Hey, I'm looking for a position. But you don't start out as this hungry job searcher, right? Just a nice casual conversation that you act like you're more interested in the other person. And the flow will just go. How can you help the other person? What are they doing here? What are you doing here today, John? Did you have a goal for coming to see us tonight? Right? And so all of a sudden the person, okay, this is a soft conversation. Person's interested in it. And be sincere, right? I mean, really care about what John wanted, what he's looking for tonight. How can I help John? Don't talk too much. And don't just sit there and and if you've got something going on in your life or the job search is extremely frustrating, okay, go get a Stephen Minister and vent all that to the Stephen Minister, and then come to a networking event as a rational professional, right? And like Jerry said, don't stick with one person too long. This is a short, get to know you. Hey, would you like to have some coffee sometime? I'd love to visit more and understand what's going on. It's your, be not threatening and just very interested. Be very professional. Like I said, avoid negativity and stay real focused on where this conversation is going for the two of you. Don't stand there eating. If it's a food like it is on Wednesday night, Uncle Julio's, that's phenomenal food, ignore it. Maybe
Not possible.
Don't
Don't drink it.
Yeah.
No margaritas.
No margarita. Take all that to the end, right? Is just so you're focused on, I'm here to network. Okay, here we go. This is the session. We're going to spend about 3 or 4 minutes. What's that time? And I want you to think about 3 to 5 people that you can contact to meet with. This Monday night, you can contact them before the week's over. 3 to 5 people. Ask them to have coffee, go for a walk, just do something. Hey, I'd be love to visit with you, right? And in that conversation, it can come up. It's not, like I said, you don't blast, hey, how are you? I'm looking for a job, right? It'll come up in the conversation and, and have copies of your personal marketing brief. I'm sure that's bad, or I can email it to you, something like that. Would you be interested in looking at it for me to see if anything clicks? if it triggers any, people you know or whatever, just real casual, type requesting a favor of a friend. All you're asking to do is read a sheet of paper and maybe contact one or two people. And you would do that for anybody, and I bet anybody would do it for you. Right? I mean, think through, you're not asking people to do anything that you wouldn't do for them. Right? People love helping people. You're not asking for this big lift. You're not asking for them to step out and recommend you, which that could come too. But you're just asking for a simple couple minutes of their time and their attention as a friend. And 99% sure that they'll do it, okay? Start writing down, we got 3 minutes.
Yeah, and I've got a couple of things to share on networking, especially about finding certain things.
People, I hope. Any questions on that exercise? Were y'all able to think of some ideas of where you can good? Okay, I'm through. Jerry has some things that he wants to add to the conversation.
Let me give a couple of more that maybe, some will sound hard, but anything I'm giving you, I've used in my career in doing that. So obviously the industry type networking groups like that, ATD, you'd be surprised how many are around town of different things. So I've had a lot of time in contact centers, executive leadership, and I was amazed to find at least 5 here when I was looking. And this is before you had the internet the way we have today. And so they're out there and you've got the internet, find like-kind people and then make connections. Also any online groups. Nowadays you can connect with people in Maryland as well as Costa Rica or wherever. Neighbors are important. Twice in my career, neighbors have led me to more business or a job. In just chatting and knowing who I was, knowing what I do, knowing the family, those kind of things. Very important. If you've had clients that really like what you've done or companies you've done business, those connections are important too, just to start a coffee conversation. They're not gonna have a job for you necessarily, but they may know someone. As is true of past people who you've worked with. They went off to someplace else, now they're there, but they like you to come with them. Maybe they get that referral, we'll talk about that. Another is, and this you can do on LinkedIn, but I started writing articles, industry articles related to operations. And so you post them on LinkedIn and then also comment on other LinkedIn folks' articles that are important to you or industry connected. You might get some responses and some connections. Doing that. So that's a couple of things that I did. Of course, the form there says identify organizations you want to be with, and then try to dig in and find who are people in those organizations. And that's pretty easy to do these days. And try to strike out a conversation. You're going to get some rebuff. So you got to be a salesman in that sense and say, if I can connect with 3 people out of 10 I want to connect with, that's good. Right? So that's what I got. That's what worked for me.
Thanks, Jerry. Any other questions, people? Any thoughts?
Network doesn't stop either when you're looking for a job. As soon as you get a job, you continue networking forever.
I have to keep that this warm.
Forever.
As they say. All right. I have to keep that this warm, as they say.
You know, things you can do. And when you've got a job, it's a great time then to help lots of people.
And it's, and while you get in the momentum of visiting with people, especially catching up with old friends and stuff like that, you can keep those relationships going. And usually you're kind of, oh, wow, I really like, this is one of my favorite people in college. I know it's been 20 years since I've, seen with them, but I just found out they live 3 streets over and I'm going to rekindle that friendship. You just don't know what comes out of this. So there's lots of opportunities. Other questions or comments? Anybody online? No? All right. Well, we'll finish early, folks.
Okay.
Have a good week. We'll be back next week. We have who's speaking. We have a great speaker coming up. I know. I talked to her the other day. So, okay, folks. Thank you. Have a good week. Enjoy the weather. Get out, walk.
Get outside, yeah. Have a good night.
All right.
Oh, one other thing, the Rotary is having a pancake breakfast at Brentwood High School this Saturday. Well worth going.
And it's free for donations. You only have to make a donation, I believe.
You said Rotary at Brentwood High School this Saturday,
This
Yes.
Saturday.
breakfast. Sounds like a winning plan.
Yeah.
Pancake breakfast. It's been there
Pancake
every year, but I mean,
Rotary.
Rotary is big. Lots of business.
Jerry, which Rotary?
Brentwood, the Lions Rotary. And that,
Yeah, no, it's
a Rotary or it just got.
Although they meet every Monday.
It's different. Yeah. Now this is like the 40th anniversary